My daughter Laura has been struggling to focus on her studies with her brothers Kyle and Ryan constantly disrespecting her privacy. A few days ago, she was yelling for Kyle to come to her room. I asked her what happened. She explained that Kyle flipped all her items upside down. I called Kyle to come and flip everything right side up. Yesterday, Ryan was running into her room and kept stealing her stuff, while she ran to get them back. On the night of the same day, Laura was trying to sleep, when the brothers suddenly barged in and ran through it, resulting in her screaming at them to stay out and close the door while she was sleeping. To give a few examples, today in the morning, her father told her he didn't like the way she was screaming. She said that she was trying to sleep and her brothers were making all kinds of ruckus. He told her that they are kids and they will learn. She said that they will never learn and the only way for them to learn is to have locks installed for her room. He did not want her to, and they went back and forth on this until she threatened she would move out as soon as she became financially independent, since she wasn't going to wait for them to mature and they should already know to respect her privacy, to which he said to wait to include me in the conversation. I overheard, and when she went to her room, I told her she wasn't going to have locks set up because she already wastes her time without the need for locks and I don't want her to fail. Laura said that they were never going to listen without them, and I told her that I would make sure they wouldn't enter her room. This evening, I heard her shouting for me. We were all in the living room. Her father explained what was going on. Laura said that she was making Kyle tea when he did he's not allowed to do. She said that she was going to tell on them, and he said that if she promises to not tell, he and Ryan will never go into her room again. She didn't say anything, so they ran upstairs to her room. I told her that she has no right to complain since she always sleeps in Kyle's room after school. Her brothers all agree and Laura calls all of us the worst. None of us are allowed in her room, and leaves. She comes back after a minute and says that she only sleeps in Kyle's room because he never uses it aside from sleeping at night, and if he was to use it for studying, then she would never go there. Meanwhile, they constantly disturb her, mess with her stuff, and made her unable to sleep just last night. I told her if they ever go into her room, she needs to go to me. Then Kyle starts saying that they had the right to go into her room while she was trying to sleep because they were playing. Laura yelled at him, then said that she couldn't wait to move out soon so she no longer has to deal with them. She also called me an awful mother for not giving her her bedroom locks. Am I the problem here? I have a daughter, Hazel. Hazel was born with a rare condition called tethered cord syndrome and she uses a manual wheelchair to get around. Hazel's father hasn't been in the picture since she was a toddler, and I now have a fiancé, Mark. Mark and I have been together for a total of 3 years. He has a son, Eddie. We all live together in a house that I own in my name, which I know is a very fortunate position to be in with the housing market. I inherited the house from my late dad. We have quite a large yard, and the other day, Mark and Eddie were doing some yard work quite early in the morning. Hazel was still sleeping and I went outside to see what they were up to. That's when I noticed that Eddie was using Hazel's wheelchair to move bags of grass cuttings and dead plants. I immediately stopped him and asked him what on earth was he doing with her wheelchair. Eddie sheepishly told me that Mark told him to use it and that it would be fine. After taking the things off my daughter's wheelchair, I asked Mark if this was true. Mark admitted that he took the wheelchair to use it to move stuff. He said that Hazel was still sleeping and that they weren't going to use it for long, so he didn't think it would matter or that she would even notice. I started raging at Mark and yelling at him and saying that what he did was disrespectful to my daughter and that he has no right to go and take her things, let alone something that she needs to move around, and told him he's acting like a total douchebag. Mark apologized, but I was still royally pissed off and went back inside the house and didn't say anything to him. Later that day he said that I was wrong for my reaction and that I was majorly out of line, especially for acting that way in front of his son. I don't think I was out of line, but Mark is expecting an apology. I recently kicked my sister out of our home for the way she reacted to a photo of my husband, his first wife. I met him a few months after she died in a car accident, got married 2 years after that. We've been together 6 years. He was devastated when she died. I told him I never expected to replace her in any way, considered myself another chapter in his life. I was warmly accepted into the family and his circle of friends. My sister recently, she fell on hard times, lost her job, apartment, and so on. We took her in. My husband has always had a home office. My sister was poking around the house when he was out, and discovered a photo of him, his first wife, among the framed pictures he has. It's not their wedding photo or anything, just a typical cute couple photo. It's the only printed photo of her in the house, taken a few months before her accident. They didn't have kids, so pics are all he has. There are a lot more photos of us. I was reading on the couch when my sister came stomping into the room. Holding the framed photo, she angrily asked, "Why do you let him keep a photo of his ex in your house?" I replied, "First, it's our house. Second, she's not an ex. She died in an accident and was his wife for 8 years. She was a huge part of his life. He keeps that one photo out." She replied, "An ex is anyone you've slept with who's not in the picture anymore." Me, "No, that's not how it works. She died." Sister, "Doesn't matter. So what if she got pasted by a truck? An ex is an ex. You shouldn't be letting him keep any pictures." Me, "You're being extremely disrespectful to me, my husband, right now. You're a guest in this house. Walk back those comments, apologize." Now, sister, why should I apologize? How can you let him keep pictures of an ex-fucktoy? I never knew his first wife, but I know how much she meant to him. I know how much he loves me. My sister talking about her like that insulted him, by extension me, not to mention how disrespectful she was being to a poor woman who died young. I said, "Get your crap and leave." I didn't care that it was November in MN, or that she didn't have anywhere else to go, or any money. She had been beyond disrespectful to me and my husband, over a single small photo. Me, "If you're worried about sleeping in your car this winter, you should have thought of that before insulting the people sheltering you." I made sure she was gone before my husband even got home. He was shocked when I told him what had happened, since he'd always had a polite, neutral relationship with her. He thanked me for having his back. I got a call from my mom, telling me it was my responsibility to take care of my sister. I laughed and hung up. I've been asked by a few people how I could basically destroy my relationship with my sister over this, and have replied that she was the one who did so. Am I the asshole for how I handled this? My sister moved in with me and my husband a week ago. She does not contribute money but takes on lots of house chores as a way to compensate for it. She'd cook, clean, organize, vacuum, etc. Yesterday, I was at work and came home and found that she'd done my husband's laundry. I was stunned, as I felt this was not her place, nor was it appropriate, because for one, I always do his laundry, and more importantly, I did not think it was appropriate for her to be looking at his underwear. She downplayed the whole thing, saying it was no big deal and that she saw that I was struggling with work and then kids and wanted to help me by doing the laundry. I told her she shouldn't have done it, but my husband didn't react, and she used that to support her argument, saying no one thinks it's a big deal except me. We argued and she shut me down, then started crying, saying she meant well and was trying to help out. But I couldn't help but think this was not her place. My husband told me to drop it, but I can't shake this weird feeling I got. He told me I should apologize to her for berating her, but I refused.